In 1858, the Western North Carolina Railroad built a large stone bridge that crossed a creek in Bostian. The bridge is around 60 feet tall and still stands today. It also happens to be home to a well-known urban legend. In 1891, a late-night passenger service crossed the bridge at around 3 a.m., with most of the passengers on board being asleep. As it crossed the bridge, the locomotive jumped the tracks and ended up plunging into the creek below, dragging several carriages down with it. 22 people were killed in the accident, either from the fall or by drowning in the creek trapped under the wreckage. The story goes that 50 years later, early in the morning of the 27th of August 1941, a woman was waiting by her car that was pulled over at the side of the road. The car had a flat tire and her husband had gone to find help. The bridge was close by and the woman heard a train whistle approaching. She looked over and saw an engine's lamp approaching, and as it crossed the bridge, the train plunged off and crashed into the creek. She ran to the wreck and saw the locomotive and several old wooden carriages piled into a jagged mound, with the sound of screams and moans of injured people coming from within the pile. She approached the wreck and described the mess as terrible, with the twisted mass of metal and wood now starting to be flooded by the creek. Hearing a car pull up on the road behind her, she ran back, screaming that a terrible wreck had happened. Both her husband and a man who owned a local store were in the car. Both rushed over to the bridge, only to find nothing was there. Both men simply thought the wife had passed out and dreamed the whole thing. It was early in the morning after all, but the woman was adamant about what she saw. After the couple fixed the tire and set off again, she made her husband stop at the next train station. She asked the station agent if there had been a wreck that night. The agent remarked, "Funny you should ask. There was no wreck at the railroad last night, but 50 years ago today, there was a horrible wreck at Bostian Bridge." The woman promptly fainted when she realized she'd seen a ghost train. Recently, on the 27th of August 2010, a group of 12 amateur ghost hunters gathered on the bridge in hopes of seeing the ghost train firsthand. At 2:45 a.m, a real train came down the line at the same time they thought they'd see a ghost train. The group believed it to be the ghost train and didn't flee, resulting in 2 of them getting injured and 1 of them dying. It's fair to say that it's not the most terrifying ghost story out there, but the bridge does still hold the eyes of many ghost hunters and paranormal investigators. I wonder if there's a chance anyone else will ever see the phantom train. Subscribe for more.